I'm looking forward to that IG report as well. That leads into my second question here. So we know the collusion hoax was a total fiasco, and it was basically cover for the Democrats' admitted collusion with Russians. And that's not a mystery. They said they used Russian
Right.
sources to attack you in your campaign. That's not
Absolutely.
a
It's hard to
conspiracy
believe.
theory. That's their own words.
Yeah.
So it's
Right.
kind of interesting how when the Mueller thing fizzled out just days later, this fake whistleblower complaint appeared. Do you think this is all, again, like the collusion hoax was cover for Democrat collusion with Russians, that this is cover for the Democrat collusion and the Biden collusion with these key Ukrainians, just an effort to flip it
Well,
onto you?
I think because this is just out of the blue, this came up. In fact, I remember one of our people walked in. Sir, did you ever have one of the lawyers, White House lawyers, who were doing a very good job? They walked in and they said, "Sir, did you ever have a conversation with the Ukrainian president?" I said, "Yes, the new Ukrainian president. I actually had two conversations with him. We just released the other one today, and you saw that was milquetoast also." I think you probably heard Devin Nunes did a great job, by the way. His opening
fantastic.
remarks were great. But he just read that into the record because, as you know, Schiff didn't read what I said into the record. He made up a conversation and read that into the record. That was one of the most disgusting things I've ever seen in politics. And if he didn't have immunity, he'd be in jail for what he did. So that's the story. I mean, when you hear about this whistleblower, everyone in Washington knows who it is, by the way. The whistleblower is no great secret. The fake news doesn't want to print it because if it was a reverse type whistleblower, they would have a lot different feeling. But the whistleblower, everybody knows who the whistleblower is. And has to be revealed. The whistleblower wrote a report which was mostly on the phone call that everybody now sees was a good call. That's why they switched. They never thought, Dan, that I was going to release that call. And I really had no choice because Adam Schiff made up a call. He said, the president said this, and then he made up a call. I think he's crazy, okay? I think he's a nut job. And he's very corrupt. But he made up a call. He either saw the letter or he didn't see it and did it first. Either way, he totally made up the call. And in making up the call, it sort of sounds familiar because the whistleblower also made up something that bore no relationship to the real call. So fortunately, the call was transcribed by experts and transcribed beautifully. And that was the call. When I released it, Dan, everything started going downhill because the call was a perfect call. Mark Levin said it. Greg Jarrett said it. You said it. A lot of very talented people said it. And if there was something wrong, they'd say that. But there was nothing wrong. There was nothing wrong with it. Nor is there anything wrong with the first call that they just read into the record. But when I released the call, all hell broke loose on the Democrat side, including the fact that I've heard that Nancy Pelosi blasted them. She said, "You can't impeach a man on this call." But she had already gone public because she had read and she had heard the whistleblower report, which was a fake report. So the whistleblower gave a fake or fraudulent, I'm not sure what you'd call it, gave a fraudulent report, a fake report, and based on that report, they started this whole nonsense. But just to finish, the IG should have never turned that report in because the IG should have taken that report. It was all about the call. Should have taken that report and gone and asked. I would have declassified. Should have asked for the call. When he read the call, he would have seen it was totally different than the political operative whistleblower. And this thing shouldn't have even started. But the IG didn't do that. So let's talk about the IG. The IG didn't do that. The IG brought it directly to Congress. Let's get some publicity for himself. And he brought it directly. He should have seen the whistleblower report on the call. He should have then asked to see the call. And when he sees the call, he should have said, "Well, there's no case here." We also sent it to the Department of Justice after we received the whistleblower letter, and they called back and they said, "This is absolutely fine. Nothing inappropriate said. We got a perfect report on it." And just one other thing that nobody mentions, Dan, is that when I make calls to foreign leaders, I know there are many people on the line. I mean, with my knowledge, there are many people. There could be as many as 25 people, 20 people, 5 people, 2 people. But there are always people because, you're talking to the leader of a foreign nation, and you even have a Prenti on the call, I think. People in the State Department, and, all good reasons, and probably some bad reasons, because we have some bad people, too, really bad people. But I knew that Mike Pompeo was on the call, Secretary of State. I knew that other people were on the call. Fortunately, they transcribed the call. How would it be if they didn't transcribe this call? I would have been in trouble. I would have had all these guys lying about a call. Right. I would have had a whistleblower that people would have believed. So if I got lucky that they had it transcribed, these are professional people. But if they didn't transcribe that call, I'd be at the mercy of people that are lying all over the place. But I know everybody's on the phone, Dan. So I know all these people. Yeah. Who's going to say something bad when I know there may be 25 people on the phone?